Hi guys, it's Julia Sotas. So yesterday I put up a video on online dating and also touched on the 5 elements of intimacy. But I actually would love to go a little bit more into the 5 elements of intimacy today. These are in the Access Consciousness Foundation, and they are really everything that you need to have the great intimacy that you have been hoping for your entire life. I know that that's something that even as a little kid, just like I knew there was a level of closeness and possibility that we all could have together that we actually don't have. And like, what if that's the world that we're creating? And what if that's the world that can be created now? We've changed tracks. I can't even say tracks today. We've changed tracks and we're actually headed in a different direction than we've ever been headed before. It's sort of like train tracks, and it's like since COVID-19, we've switched to a new track and the world is functioning in a different way and everything is greater and easier and totally undefined. And it's like, when we acknowledge that we've changed that, it's like, what world can we create? I have, with my friend going through this whole online dating debacle, basically, it's like, it's making me, somebody that I really care for, it's making me look at, what intimacy what we have to put into place to actually have the intimacy with ourselves and with others that's actually possible and available. So the 5 elements of intimacy are honor, trust, gratitude, allowance, and vulnerability. And I like just even saying them because they're such powerful words. But basically, honor is to treat somebody with regard and to not make them less. Before I came to Access, or until I really used the Access tools, I did not honor men. I dishonored them. I thought that was my job, was to dishonor men and make them less, and that they didn't have value, and that because they were a man, they were wrong, and because I was a woman, I was right, and I didn't honor them. And so I've had to learn to honor my husband, because I did not honor him at the beginning. I've had to learn to honor him and be there for him and be grateful for him and honor whoever he's choosing to be, And the more that I honor him for whoever he's choosing to be, the more of him he becomes and the more of me I get to become. And then the next element is gratitude. So most of us learn gratitude in a kind of a nasty way, like you have to be grateful for this food that you got, or aren't you grateful that you live in the first world and that you have a home? And it's more of like shaming you in order to get you to like comply to this reality's rules. And what real gratitude is going, whoa, I created that. How did I get that? And being this space of like, I like to describe it as, oh, like I got that, I created that, I brought that into my life. And that's something that contributes to me. And then the next element is trust. And trust is, as Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, says, it is trusting that if somebody's an alcoholic before you marry them, that they will stay an alcoholic after you marry them, that your love will not cure their alcoholism. Or, if somebody changes their underwear every day before you get married to them, they will change their underwear every day after you get married to them. And there's nothing you can do about that. And I will not comment on changing underwear. I'm just using it as a silly example to get you to see that if somebody does something, they do it, and that's it. And the person that you meet is always the person they're going to be. I was with a friend, and she was hanging out with her friends, and one of her friends just started dating a new guy. And she said, this guy has so much potential. I am going to create a place where he has a better job, where he gets his act together, where he, stops being a vegetarian because I don't like vegetarians, where he does this, this, and this. And I went, huh? you've been on one date and you already see your version of who he should be and could be. That is such a dishonoring and such a great unkindness to somebody. So that's trust, is trusting somebody to be who they've always been. The next one is allowance. Allowance is the rock in the stream. And when you are in allowance, everything goes around you. And as I have become more and more allowance, it's like, I love it because I get to sort of be this, how I kind of feel like a rock. And it's like the world is crazy around me, but it's like, because I have allowance for not everything and everyone, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect here, but I have so much more allowance than I've ever had in my life. And it's like, people will call me with their issues and the things that they need, and I'm able to deal with that, and I'm able to help them and empower them and be an allowance of them choosing their problem, and show them how to be allowance. And it's a different world. It's like being able to be there for people, in a way that nobody knows how to be for people. It's incredible. And then what do we have? Vulnerability. So vulnerability is the open wound. Vulnerability is like, it's like the earth. The earth is vulnerable. It's just floating out there. I've been obsessed with this new documentary series lately called How the Universe Works that Dr. Dane recommended to some of us. And it's like we are just floating out there in space. We are totally vulnerable. And it's exciting and wonderful, because when the earth, if there was a big asteroid that came and hit the earth and we exploded, we would just form and morph into something else. Human life might not be there, but something else would be possible. And it's like, that's okay, that's okay with me that things are going to change. Death is okay with me. Life is okay with me. It's all just, okay, that's allowance. And when you're willing to be vulnerable, you're also willing to be vulnerable with where you're lying to yourself. I made a list recently of all of the places where I'm still lying to myself. I just looked at it and I got a piece of paper and I was like, okay, what are all the lies that I'm living by? And I wrote them all down and I was like, oh, that's a lot of lies. And excuse me. And it's like, what if you could live beyond the lies? And what if you were willing to be vulnerable enough to identify them? Vulnerability is a superpower. It doesn't mean that you're going to be attacked. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you actually are willing to receive everything. And when you can receive everything, you have total awareness. And total awareness is the greatest gift and pleasure in life. And I spent my whole time in Access and before that, not understanding awareness and not having any value for awareness. I came to Access and Gary was dishing out awareness and I was not looking for awareness. I was looking for my dreams to come true. Well, my dreams were not awareness. My dreams were my conclusions. And so just recently I'm realizing what awareness is, and that I am so grateful to have it, because it makes life heaven on earth when you have total awareness. So that's the 5 elements of intimacy, folks. I hope that helps. I hope that empowers you. And, if you are interested in more, get to a foundation class. Basically, there's life before the Access Foundation, and then there's life after the Access Foundation. It's a gift. It's what you require to be the leader in the world. And it's going to give you the things that you need to have total awareness and to have the power and the potency that you've always known you have, how to access that and the tools to use it. So 5 elements of intimacy. Thank you guys for being here. And truly, what if you are the gift that is here to change the world? Okay? Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.